Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back
Hello.
to your new episode here this March of Real Talk Tuesday. And I'll be your host today. Listen, I'm just standing in, just briefly because, Britt holds it down and she does such a great job. And I'm just a stand in, right, for this month. So I just want to introduce the team, and we also have some special guests that are near and dear to my heart, and we're going to introduce them as well. So we got Sister Brittany Stevenson.
Hi.
And we got Reverend Brandon Gale Sr. And we got Reverend Kenneth Watson. We have the beautiful Brianna. And we have First Baptist's own Kyra Purvis.
Hey, Festy girl.
And then we have Ashley Martin, whom I adore, and I'm so glad you guys are joining us today.
Yes, welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Listen, we know how hard it is to get on here, right? Look, we got kids, people got to eat, we got a lot going on. And women in general, we wear a lot of hats, right? We wear a lot of hats, mothers, wives, sisters. We wear a lot of hats, right? So this month is our month, right? Where we celebrate us, right? It's Women's History Month. We're celebrating us. The guys are on for support. They're on for support because we need y'all too. We need y'all too.
We need you.
We do. We need y'all too. So, and it's, I love when we do these because we know it's just like Black History Month and Women's History Month, and we have months all that come different topics all the time. But it's only when we sit down and we focus on things where we actually kind of learn something, that you didn't really know before, right? And I'm like, okay, we're celebrating women, and we could talk about women. We could have a whole different segment for women in general for so many things that we've done. But today we're going to condense that, right? Right. So just to give just a little bit of background about women's history. So it's so funny because Google has so many different things. Some people will say it started, way back when, like back to the 1850s. When women just had, bad working conditions and there was a strike. And then if you go to different parts of the world, there was a strike in Russia. Usually it was events that, where women felt they were being mistreated, where we were being mistreated or we were in poor working conditions. It was a bad reason as to why it basically became commemorated or why we, celebrated it. And but we started to put it in light for more of the positive things that we have done as women and how realistically the things that we have now and the things that we do, wouldn't really be possible if it wasn't for us. We keep the world going round. We restore the balance, right, and the order. I mean, y'all ain't gotta say amen to that in the corner. Y'all ain't got to say amen to that.
Amen.
Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and move right along. So, does anybody feel like, and I'm sure somebody has, maybe a female, if it's not your mother or somebody, is there anybody that has been, or any woman that has been really influential in your life? It could have been a teacher or whomever, and whoever wants to go can go.
First person I think of is my mom. She's just everything to me. So my mom is definitely that role model, that person that gives me motivation when I can't find any at all. So she is my go-to.
Oh, shout out to your mom.
Yes,
I would second that. Go ahead, Brittany.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You are our guest, please.
I was going to say my mom as well. A lot of you know Dr. Purvis. I think she is such a very influential woman. Everyone knows that she's played a huge role in a lot of people's lives. I hope to touch as many lives, even if I can touch half as many lives as she has touched kind of in her career. Definitely most influential woman, hands down.
There's just a bunch of women who I look towards. Obviously, my mother, my aunts, my grandmother, who's no longer here with us. When I think of the strength of just those women and just the women that are in my life now, some who are even younger than me, I look at Brianna, who is working on her PhD. That just makes me so happy. I look at Kyra, who I watched grow up, and now she's out in, I believe, Alabama, doing her thing on the news. So it's like, I just love the strength of the women that I've, come to know, throughout my life, throughout my 35 years. I just know some phenomenal women. I know some, and I'm so grateful and thankful for each and every one of them. So not just one, it's a bunch of y'all I love. My godmoms, it's just different people. We stand for y'all, queens.
I 100% agree with all of that. There's a community of women that I look up to and that I think are influential, and it wouldn't be me if I didn't first shout out Mama B. Okay, I love that lady. Everything in me. She's amazing, and I used to tell Mom. I still tell her now, like, Mama, I just want to be as great as you. And her rebuttal is like, you should strive to be greater than me, because you're gonna do your own great things. And I feel like that's important too. Like, she's my favorite. And if we're getting shouts out to people on this call, I look to my friend. Hey, girl. She is one of the influential women in my life. We talk all the time. And
every day.
I feel like all of our conversations are so beneficial, and we're always uplifting each other. And I just think she's amazing. She she helps push me further, and I love that about our friendship.
Aww.
And Miosha, it wouldn't be right if I didn't shout you out either. You have been great from Sunday school teacher and beyond.
Yes.
And I appreciate your presence in my life. And there are so many people that I feel are influential, and I can't name all of you, but there's love for all of you.
There's love.
For sure.
Yes.
Fellas, feel free to chime in,
Yeah, because a woman brought you here, so.
You did come here by way of woman.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's my mother, First Lady Talana Watson. She grounds me.
I can see that.
Yeah, me too.
I can see that.
Me too.
It's an unconditional love and unconditional support. Good, bad, or indifferent. She knows how to talk to me. She's extremely supportive. But if she needs to provide some type of corrective action, she has the ability to do it, but do it in a sincere, straightforward, but loving manner. Mm-hmm. So I certainly can appreciate the influence that she's had in my life. Yeah, so it's my mom. Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Yeah. For me, it is my mother as well. Me and my mother, we talk just about every day, and it could just. My mom's also a pastor too, so sometimes when I call Mom, I'll be like, Mom, you busy? She's like, yeah, I got this going on. I said, well, can I talk to you about something? And I said, but I need Mom. I don't need pastor. I need Mom this time. Sometimes she gets into her pastoral mindset. I'm like, Mom, I don't need that. I need to talk to Mom. And she'll turn around. But it's definitely my mom. My mom was like my best friend, and we can talk about anything. And like you said, I'm just Reverend Ken, she grounds me too. She can tell me when I'm doing too much or when I need to do more, or my mom's a little more direct.
I know his mama. She is.
She has a way of saying things, but it's just that I understand her. Of course, my mother-in-law, because on the flip side, my mother-in-law, she has a way of talking to you, and she has a way of talking to you that it's out of love and out of sincerity, and you don't feel bad when you leave the conversation. You know what I'm saying? She has that gift where she can just talk to you, and something's on her mind. But she just has a way of talking to you, let you know that you need to do certain things, or you should go this direction or whatnot. But I'm also proud of, not to take too much time from you all.
No.
But I am so proud because we were in that Sunday school class together, me and Miosha. when we teach
Yeah. That's what
we used to teach. Yeah, we used to teach that class together.
We go way back.
Yeah, way back.
I know,
And
look at them.
to see Brianna and Kyra just flourishing, it really, because they always mess with me. They always picked on me, literally. When them two was around each other, I knew I was going to get it.
It's a letter.
But to see them, just grow and to be who they are and are becoming as adult women is just phenomenal. And I just really love you too. Yes, I really love you too. Yeah.
Thank you.
You make us so proud.
Yeah.
Sorry, we wrote that mean letter to you long ago.
I'm sorry. so sorry.
I'm sorry.
And they probably did it together. 'Cause these two.
We wrote it during church.
You remember it like it was yesterday. So, nevertheless. And actually, of course, I love my mom. She's my biggest cheerleader. But growing up, Dr. Purvis, let me tell you, I remember when she was pregnant with y'all, and I'm just like, and it's just amazing how things go back full circle because she was my favorite teacher. ILA, I was her favorite student. And then here we are all these years later, I joined First Baptist, and then she has two beautiful girls, and then I get to teach y'all. And it's just amazing how God works things out, right? And it's just so full circle. And it's a blessing. It is. It's been a blessing. So, yes, that's mine because you know how I can get. So, yes, moving right along. So these are any challenges when it comes to, of course, as women in general, we have our own set of challenges and struggles. But as Black women, and now that we're all older, because we kind of grew up together in our adult life. We kind of grew up together. So are there any things that you see now as an adult that you really didn't pay attention to as much when you were a child? Or were there any struggles that you have went through as an adult that you saw your parents go through and you're like, well, it all makes sense now?
Higher expectations. I mean, I feel like as a Black woman, we don't have the opportunity to make a whole bunch of mistakes as our white counterparts. And I've seen it just full-fledged in my job. There are mistakes that can be made on one end of the spectrum with white women, and it's handled differently. But with us, it's very aggressive. You should know better. You should have better. You should do better. And those expectations, sometimes they're hard to carry on your shoulders because it's like, okay, I got to be perfect all the time. And I feel like that's how a lot of Black women feel like. We have to be perfect all the time. There is no room for error. And that's I would think.
Definitely agree with that. It makes you feel, you almost feel like you're under constant scrutiny sometimes as a Black woman because, as our other counterparts, different, races and nationalities of women, us as women, we're, second class citizens, per se, but then we wear the Black skin, we have to be, so you got to be a strong Black woman, but then you're too strong to attract a man, and then it's this and it's that. So it's like, we can't win sometimes, I feel that way as a Black woman, young Black girl growing up to be a Black woman. I even remember, even just recently, so, the Oscars were a couple weeks ago. So there was there was the Vanity Fair party or an Oscar party, one of the parties, and singer Ciara had on an outfit. Now, it was a themed party, right? And she wore a dress to fit the theme. She and other women there wore dresses to fit the theme. It was a little risque, it was a little, it was giving body. But her name was the one that seemed to be the topic of conversation, not the other women that just so happened to not be Black. So it was like, I wonder why. Why is she the one? Why are they on her neck? Why is it not? Because all of them were showing body. They were all showing skin, but she was the one. So it's like, it just goes to show you that sometimes us as Black women, even in a situation like that, you're just under more scrutiny than our counterparts. Right.
It definitely, that's all I was hearing about was Ciara.
Girl.
It's like, wow. So definitely that stigma, us being too independent, our role, the appearance, even when it comes to, you know, your job, church, everything, all together. It's just like always something, you know, your nails got to be a certain, you feel like your nails got to be a certain color. Your hair has to look a certain way. You got to wear a certain color when you go to a certain function. And it's just like, where does this come from? You know, it derives from somewhere or something. But that sense of instant denial as well. I feel like we get a lot of rejections. But I'm definitely one that, hey, bring them on, because I'm gonna find out why, and I'm gonna fight it to the end. But yeah.
I think for me, in adulthood, something that I don't necessarily know if it's like happened more or it's more that I pay attention to it now, is like how little of us there are in certain spaces. Like, you know, when I was younger, there weren't that many of me in my classroom, but I was just like, a friend is a friend. I'm just amazing. It doesn't matter. I'm where I'm supposed to be. But like now as an adult out in like the real world, it's like odd, I guess, maybe even a little unsettling sometimes to walk in a room where you are the only one and you just kind of like look at everybody and you're like, okay, and you have to choose how you're going to act, if that makes sense, like what you're going to keep to yourself, like how you're going to speak to people when you're in said environment. I just think that that's something that's a lot more prevalent for me now that I'm an adult.
Yeah, the code switching.
You know, the old people just say, just live a little bit. Just live a little bit. And that's what they say. Just live a little bit. And, you know, a lot of things that, you know, your parents talked about or your grandparents talked about, you ain't really, you know, when we were younger, it was just like, okay. But then as you get older, you like, well, why do you get to do it and I don't get to do it? Oh, no, we both doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you let people like walk over top of you, they will. You know, you have certain people who get to complain about things all the time, and then they have you who, you know, they know who ain't gonna complain and they're gonna give it to you. No, we gotta make it fair, and we gotta stand up for each other. And if it, you know, our passion seems like aggression, they're just gonna have to get over it. You know, you gotta build a bridge and get over it, because at the end of the day, fair is fair, and we have to stand up for ourselves. And people are not always gonna like it, and they're not. And guess what? They don't have to.
They do,
right?
not.
But you just gotta be strong in who you are. They'll come around, right?
The thing about the strength that you talk about, it's like then then like you said, it becomes aggression. Like, I'm not aggressive. I'm not aggressive at all. I stand 10 toes deep, 10 toes down on what I believe in, and this is true. Piggybacking off something that Brianna said, you know, going into spaces where you're the only one that look like you. See, Brittany, as a grown up and even as a smaller child, I was very hyper vigilant. So I paid attention to stuff like that. Like, you're the only one that, you know, look, the little things that they would say. Like, I remember even being a kid and remember the American dolls. And they had those dolls that were really expensive and everybody wanted one. I had the Addie doll. Of course, Addie was black, and then the other girls had the other ones. And they would make little shady comments like, oh, I don't like Addie. Like,
well, Addie don't
like why? Why? Like, what is wrong with her? You know, like different things. So it made me almost want to be just kind of fit in, and almost to diminish your personality, when quite frankly, you know, I'm a very vibrant person. So, you know, now it's like I'm living out loud. Like, you know, you're going to get this personality. You're going to get it. You're going to get this smile. You're going to get this, hey girl, hey, and you're going to live and you're going to have a good time. So I think that, you know, sometimes, you know, it's even taught to young, you know, children, you know, women, young little girls of color earlier on, that they have to diminish who they are, and you don't. And I just, you know, that's the reason why when you see little girls being passionate and things like that, like don't put out her light, you know, keep that fire, baby girl. You're gonna need it in this world. So
amen. Fellas, is there anything you want to add to that?
We love them. We promise we love them. They are allies.
I just wanted you guys to feel included. I mean, because maybe there were experiences where you saw something where people weren't treated the same. So I just, wanted you guys to find.
I mean, you both have sisters, wives, mothers,
wives, Okay,
daughters,
got it. Say less. Say less.
Or say less.
You guys are doing great.
So we're gonna go ahead and introduce our guests, which we've already did like a little brief, introduction. And we do know Kyra Purvis, and then we have Ashley Martin also joining us. So we're gonna start first with Kyra, and Kyra is gonna tell you a little bit about her journey and where she is. And when I had to pick people, let me tell you, just like Brittany, there's a plethora of phenomenal women that I know. But then I just wanted to, focus on people that are near and dear to me, and then who I have watched flourish and go through different things, and then feel like they're in a place where they really want to be, and they're doing really great things. And it's admirable for me. I just wanted you guys to know that. And, Kyra was ecstatic that I asked her. She was like, you want me to do it? And I was like, okay, well, maybe can we do 7:30? I was like, yeah, we can do 7:30. I think we'll be all right with that. So, Kyra, go ahead and, take it away, and then Ashley will do you next, okay?
Okay. So, how I got here. Okay, my name is Kyra Purvis. People that don't know me, I am a reporter with ABC 3340 News in Birmingham, Alabama. Just moved here about 5 months ago. I'm going to start from college only because I feel like there may be someone that is listening that needs to hear this to show you how I got here. So I went into college as a kinesiology major, very focused on being a physical therapist. That was my dream. Went into my junior year, had my kinesis, my PT classes, all of those things, chemistries, and realized that is not something that I really loved. I was doing the classes, I was getting the grades, but it just wasn't something that I liked. So I started getting into oratorical competitions and ended up doing pretty well in those. And so I went to this one, it was the state competition, and I told myself and I told God, I said, God, if I win first place at this oratorical competition, I need to look into some other major, because that means that this is my talent. This is what you want me to do. Lo and behold, I won first place. Mm-hmm. So that next day, we came back from Charlotte, I went to my advisor and said, I'm switching my major. She said, you're crazy. You're not going to graduate on time. Why would you leave a kinesiology major for a journalism major? Are you crazy? But I did it. And I ended up graduating on time. I took my summer classes. I had a full schedule, my second half of junior and my senior year. So that was crazy. But I graduated. And after I graduated, now I'm like, to get a job. What is happening? I don't know what I'm doing. I've only been doing this for 1.5 years. Lo and behold, a station in Albany, Georgia hired me. We did an interview and they liked my personality and hired me. And I got a job as a reporter with 1 year of journalism experience, technically.
Come on,
and that all being said is just, my journey here was not straightforward. It was not straightforward by any means necessary, but it took God, it took hard work, it took a lot of confidence. And being a Black woman, I shut myself kind of down when I got into that space because I was the only Black reporter at my station for a long time. And then Cheyenne was there, so she came too. And it was just, you feel that pressure and you work through that. And that's what I had to do. After a year, I left Georgia and moved to Birmingham for this opportunity, made a 100 market jump, which was, I was in market 154. I am now in market 49, which is crazy. The top market is 1. And it's been a crazy ride. My days are hectic. Miss Brianna knows that because I call her every day to complain. But again, going back to that theme of being a woman and being here, I am surrounded by a lot of powerful women, but not a lot of powerful Black women. I have one Black anchor, so I've kind of clung to her when it comes to learning storytelling, learning how to be precise when you're on air, learning live presence. And I feel like for us young Black women, it's so important to find, as we were talking about, influential Black women that is right there that we can take advantage of every single day. Mm-hmm. And that's what I do. And so, I don't really know what I was talking about after that, but meant to talk about after that. But yeah, yeah, that's been my journey here. So it's been really good. I'm a reporter, so I do about 4 shows a day, and that's been amazing. But I never could have expected to see myself here ever. Ever in a million years. My mom says it all the time, Kyra, I knew you were going to be great, but my goodness. And so it's just a matter of knowing that God has blessed me with this. So what am I going to do with it? I can't just let it go. Can't just slack on it. I have to continue to work, continue to be that strong Black woman that you guys, y'all that literally raised me, can be proud of. So that is, I think that's it. That's me in a nutshell, my career.
It's giving your gifts will make room for you.
Amen.
It gives
and they'll come so unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. I tell God every day, God, I don't deserve anything that you put in front of me, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. And that's what we have to do as women. I mean, seriously. It's amazing.
She's so precious.
Yes.
I know.
So, hand clap.
Black woman on TV, you know how they be doing, how they be doing this in real life. So I can only imagine on TV. Like, have you had any kind of, like adversity on like with either your coworkers or, if you're doing certain interviews, have you faced any kind of, crazy situations?
Right. Well, most of my day is knocking on people's doors, random people's doors, and asking them, will you talk with me? I go to home. Most of the time, it's called MOS, Man on Street. That's where you get that. When you see that person, it's like, Jimmy Fallon says this about this situation. We found that person randomly. So I have had a number of situations where I knocked on the wrong door. They were not welcoming to me or my Blackness. I have had nigger get out of my house. I have had get off property. I have had everything from these people up here, and it's hard. And sometimes, and I always tell Brianna this, it's very hard to take the emotions out of every day with this job and separating it, because like I had said before, we just had 2 deputies shot today. We had a student shot in a school building. I've covered tornadoes. I covered things like that. It is so hard to go back home and be like, oh, well, this isn't real life, because it actually is real life. Someone actually is going to bed tonight with a story that you just reported on, and that's their life, and they're dealing with that. So that on top of the negative, because there's a negative stigma surrounded around journalists now. Nobody likes the news. I get it. I'm just here to be the good journalist for you. That pressure of emotions on top of that pressure of not being wanted, especially as a Black woman, oh my gosh, it puts so much on you. But God willing, you get through it.
You take them with you wherever you go. Amen, somebody. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Does anybody have anything for Kyra? Any questions or anything you want to ask?
So what is your outlet, Brianna? I said, what are some of your outlets that you enjoy doing?
Oh, okay, yeah. So my outlets have recently, you all know I dance. I have to say I used dance. I do dance. So I recently joined a dance studio. I go there usually 2 days a week, Thursdays and Saturdays. That has been such help for me lately. I mean, getting back to something that I loved for so long, it helped me. And I feel like when I got into this career last year in Albany, Georgia, I shut myself down, and it was work, sleep, repeat. Do your job, go home, do the whole thing over again. And I was focused on being so great that I lost myself, and I lost that mental sanity, kind of that balance. So dance has been a huge thing for me. Also, I've recently, very, very recently, not even a month, started working out in the morning before I go to work. And what it's done for me, I've kind of tried to get into more of the non-traditional boxing, bar, things like that. What it does is I sometimes will wake up with a lot of major anxiety about the day, because our days are just never guaranteed. And so doing those workouts, just 30 minutes, it just eases my mind. It gives me something to not think about before I go into my day. Instead of thinking about, oh gosh, I hope this person answers the phone, or hope this person wants to give a statement, I'm thinking, wow, I kind of really killed that kickboxing class this morning. Let me go in here and make today a great day. So definitely those two have been great. And my family, I'm not going to lie, I pour a lot out onto the people that I love. Brianna, she knows this and she loves me through it, but it helps. And I try to ask her, and I tell everybody this, I'm still learning this too. If you don't have the mental capacity to handle what I'm about to pour onto you, let me know. Right. Most of the time she has that mental capacity, and I just, and it makes me feel better. Sometimes just talking about your day and how it was it's good for you. Don't be afraid to talk to people about how you're feeling. I had to learn that the hard way.
Amen.
Thank you for sharing.
All right, well, next up we got Sister Ashley Martin down here. So Ashley is the Executive Director of Changing Lanes Intervention and Human Services. And Ashley and I go way back, to when we were in high school and we were in Outward Bound, and we did a lot of things together when we were younger, and we were talking before we got on the call, and I was like, sis, like, how did we get here?
Yes.
Like, we're all growing up. Like, what?
I know.
Like, what? So, and I definitely thank you guys so much for coming on. So I'm glad that you were able to do it, and I definitely want you to share a little bit about the services that you provide and your journey, because you definitely had a journey, sis. And I definitely thought that you guys would definitely be a blessing to people, especially young people who are coming up. You think you have it all together, you think you have a career path, you chose this major, you're almost finished it, and you're like, God, this is not it, and this isn't it. When I graduated with my social work degree, I said, I don't want to be a social worker, Lord. I don't want to do all of this, and I didn't do it, so, I'm still in this similar situation, but I already know Miosha, right? And that's half the battle, is when you know yourself and you know that your happiness, you don't want to, compromise that. So whatever you get into, you don't have to be stuck with, but you want to do something that's going to make you happy, right? So, sorry, Ashley, you know how I get. Oh. But yes, come on.
So I'm definitely, I would say first thing is, I'm definitely a product of a youth that had to go to several schools, transitioning from schools. With that being said, we all know what that can do to our grades, that can do to our mental, friendships, you name it. But through it all, looking back at it now as an adult, I was thankful, because it showed me how to be resilient. It showed me how to be personable. It showed me how to be, communicative with people, given the situations, and just keep striving, and always speak up when necessary. With that also being said, once I finished school, I went to, college at VCU Richmond. After that, I was just like, let me go straight to, grad school. And I did, got my master's in West Virginia. And after, I was like, okay, let me move to Atlanta, because I always loved singing. I majored in psychology and forensic psychology, but I always loved singing. So I moved to Atlanta and I pursued my singing. So I've opened up for Angie Stone, Tyrese. I've been on tour for over a year. I did a lot with the entertainment industry. I hair modeled mostly, but it was an amazing experience. And till today, it's still an outlet for me, just being able to turn on music and just being in my own zone. So music will always be my heart. You said same to you?
Yeah, I understand. Trust me.
Yes,
I understand.
Yeah, so
I'd say most of us did on here, actually. We didn't all sing on something.
Okay.
Together, actually, a lot of times. So we get it.
So at a point in my life, I was going through a divorce, and I was wanting to just get away, right? I just wanted to move to another state, but God set in and he said, actually, don't move, stick still, and follow through with what you need to follow through with. And that's what I did. And I decided to focus on my mental health, my degrees. When focusing on my degrees, I got a lot of denials, pushback. So to kind of sum it up, it took about 8 years to fight appeals, to get internships all together, to submit for approval with the Board of Licensing and Counseling. I'm sorry.
All right. I understand.
This real talk, we
This is real talk. This is real talk, real life.
We real life. It's fine.
And she's 2.
Oh, I got one of them running around too. She upstairs.
So the board basically just flat up denied me after I even finished my 4 years of my direct or indirect supervision. Don't know the reasons why, but all I can say is the judges of panels were all Caucasians, and they had said we typically don't approve. We've never approved anyone with a degree in forensic psychology before. You applied back in, I guess it was like 2014 or so. We've changed it since then. But when I applied, y'all approved it. I already took my board examination. I passed back then. I was just more so taking my hours. So anyway, I got an attorney, was able to fight it through to the very end, got a petition, went around, got as many signatures as I could, and Lord behold, 2022, I became fully licensed as a
come on, somebody.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Along with that process, I was studying to get my board certification as behavior analyst, which is 2 separate disciplines as far as the way your mind has to think when it comes to how to approach it. After 8 trials, so after 7 denials, I finally passed. So now I'm board certified behavior analyst. COVID hit. I got pregnant, had my baby. In the midst of me having my child, I was single mom. So mid-30s, never thought that I would finally have a child in my mid-30s and be single and all the. I was like, hold up, I'm not 19, I'm not 20. I got it together. What's going on with me?
Right.
But God was using me as an example to be able to share my story. And during that time of my pregnancy, I was working at a hospital. And mind you, COVID was here. COVID just came. And I got attacked by one of the patients. And I was on medical leave throughout the whole time I was pregnant. So I had my baby in September. And my FMLA, my medical leave ran out. I exhausted it. So I even lost my job after the fact because I couldn't return back to work because I just had her. And I needed a few weeks to kind of get it together before I go back to work. So I was like, are you coming back? Well, I can't come back technically. Well, I had the case that allowed me to sit still. Mind you, I had just bought my first home a year and a half before that happened. So just think about everything that happened when COVID hit. So I was like, okay, it's not time to stress. It's time to de-stress. It's time to create a routine. And I did. And I persevered, realizing what was needed first. So many people had passed away from COVID. During that time, telehealth became available. Teletherapy is still available. So I utilized everything I've learned throughout the whole years and developed my own entity. With me developing my own entity, I can proudly say I'm credentialed with over 8 different insurance companies, including Medicaid. I have a billing department, so I accept clients, whether it's private pay or insurance, I also offer professional development CEUs for people to continue their education. I consult with schools. I have contracts. I have 2 contracts right now, one in Alabama and one in Georgia. And I'm just doing it. I don't know how the time, like I'm able to get everything done, but God said, Ashley, just go for it and everything else will come. And I believe everything else is coming. Proudly to say, you know, within my first year of just my own practice, because I've always been smart, like not to give up a job before things continue to flow. But no, this year I do project to be way over 6 figures when it comes to my own practice.
Way over 6 figures.
I'm just thankful. I want to be a blessing, and that's why I just felt like I went through what I went through to be educated, first of all, not just in school, but real world life situations, and making sure when a team is developed that they understand, that I understand, and the expectations is there already.
Amen. Isn't that beautiful? Good grief.
So that's my story.
And y'all give me
your story just gave me chills.
Girl.
It just speaks to the versatility of women, Black, especially, you know, we can talk about Black women because we're all here, that it just speaks to the versatility and the resilience. You know, you get told no, you get told no, but you still win. Like, and I love that for you all. I love that for all of us. So.
For sure. I love that for us as well. Thank you so much for sharing, Ashley.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You were definitely a blessing. You know, we go through so much in silence, right? Because you can't put everything that you're going through out in the world, because you don't want the world to get involved with it and make it worse, right? Some things you just, you know, you have to give God, help me through it. Listen, if you can't do it, it can't be done. So, you know, you gotta go through what you gotta go through to get to where you need to be, right?
I said, I rebuke you, postpartum depression. I am not getting that. I am striving. Keep going.
So, very good. So, in closing, did anybody have anything else that they wanted to say or wanted to offer, or anything of that nature?
I have a question. I have a question for the group. Okay. So this question is born from a podcast I was listening to of a Black woman. So, you know, often we talk about who rules the world. We talk about Black girl magic. We talk about tonight, you guys have alluded to the strength of a woman, the resiliency of a woman. This individual posed a question, and I'm going to pose that to you on tonight. I'm not going to answer it, and I'm not even going to say which way I feel about it. So it's really, Brandon, you can certainly answer it if you want to. I probably wouldn't. I would probably leave it with the ladies.
Are you gonna pose the question and then not give your opinion about the answer?
This feels like a setup.
No, I'm not going to.
I'm glad I wasn't the only person who felt like that, Brianna. You know, we know him.
So again, you guys have alluded to your strength and how oftentimes your strength is often born out of necessity. Here's the question. Have women become too masculine?
Well, what's your definition of masculine? You're not answering the question, but what's your definition of masculine? You're not going to say nothing?
It's to shake your head.
Okay. Oh my God. What's so crazy about that? I busted out laughing because I don't know if it was a podcast that I was watching. You know how you get on like social media, like IG or like Snap, and you'll see like reels. So this reel came up, and the guy was talking about women don't want men. Women don't want men. They want to become them. And so the guy rebutted that, was like, no, some women have had to become that strength because they didn't have a man, or because they had a man and they didn't have a real one. You know, they didn't have a man that was a leader. They didn't have a man that was the head of their life. They didn't have a headship. They didn't have that or any of those things. Not saying you need it, but, you know, they didn't have that to look towards. So they became the strength that they needed. You know, I became this strength because I needed this strength in my life. I needed these certain things in my life. So I had to become it because I didn't have anybody to offer it. So, you know, it's not like it's almost like the Cheetah Girl song. Like, I don't want to be Sister Cinderella. I'm going to save myself. You know, anybody who watched Cheetah Girl, you'll know that.
Wow, you took it way back.
Yeah, we go back down. So, yeah, it was like that. So, do I think women have become too masculine? Yes, but out of necessity. Pause.
Brianna.
So, do I think women have become too masculine? I think women have become masculine, but out of necessity. I don't want to say too masculine, but I think women have become masculine, but out of necessity.
Brianna, you next.
Because you about to break your arm.
I had to Google the definition of masculine.
Here we go.
So let me read it real quick. The first one says having qualities or an appearance traditionally associated with men or boys. Who associated these qualities with men or boys? Who did that? It's not like it was just an inherently we all just were, and women came about and we were like weak and feeble and couldn't do for ourselves, and men were like somebody took those adjectives and said, this is what a man is. This is what a female is. And so because I'm not living up to someone's definition of a word, that automatically makes me less feminine. Like, what's to say a woman can't be strong? Why can't I be strong? Men that go around knocking people out, why can't I do that too?
It's not like ladylike.
But why isn't it not ladylike? Why is passion aggressive for women, but like, you know, guys on the field, you know, they get to fight and they get to be strong and they get to hit each other and they get to be all, you know, whatever in your face. But if a woman does that, it's like, yo, she need to chill. Like, you know, like Sha'Carri, like the little girl that ran track. You know, she was, you know, they talked about her. I stand for her. Yeah, I mean, she had her little issue that went on, but she was assured of herself. She knew she was she was a runner. She was a track star. And it was conceived as cocky. No, baby, I'm confident. I'm convinced in who God has made me. Don't do that. Play with something safe because I ain't it, you know?
It's just that I don't understand. Things get interpreted differently between men and women, and that's not fair. Like, if we're both passionate about something, either way, whichever way you lean on whatever the subject is, why is it that the man is just like, he has, like, you know, strong feelings, he's putting his foot down, this, that, and the other, but we're emotional? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think women have become too masculine. I think that, in a sense, we've started to realize that we don't have to solely rely on someone else to get things done for us. Like, we can take care of ourselves. Like, we're able to stand on our own 2 feet. We can handle business too. And that doesn't make us masculine. That makes us, like, you know, strong. It makes us powerful. It makes us independent. All things that we are allowed to be, because adjectives do not have gender. They're adjectives.
Love her.
That's how I
feel. It's Brianna for me. Ladies, you want to chime in? Because the reality is that we could do this. I don't know why you started this, Reverend Watson. I really don't. And you know what? And I'm just gonna be like you. I'm not gonna say a whole lot about Brianna. You said a lot, of what I would say. Anybody else want to address that?
Reverend Gail, you don't have anything to say?
Well, I just thought it was interesting because it's a question that was raised. It was not a question. I posed it as a question, but it was a statement made by a black woman that stated it. I just wanted to throw it out there to get the opinions of the women that were on the platform tonight.
These educated, beautiful Black women.
Of course. Yes.
Kyra, do you have anything to add?
Call me out, why don't you? Well, I'd say, I think because I have actually received that as an insult before, that's why I kind of kept my mouth shut.
Girl, say it.
When it comes to being masculine. But I think that word, those two words, too masculine, just, I can't agree to that. I can't say, yes, we have become too masculine. It just doesn't sit right with me. But I do believe that women have adapted. We've changed. We're not like we were 100 years ago, taking care of the kid and cooking and cleaning and things like that our great grandparents did. Alpha on time. Anyway, that they did. We're working our 9 to 5s. We're executive directors. We're business owners. We're innovators. We're all of those things. That comes with strength. It comes with those masculine traits, where you feel like I can get this done on my own. I have to, things like that. So I would say my answer, my one word answer to the question would be no, but we have adapted. We have changed, and to some that might come off as masculine, but it's really not. It's just how the world is now. We all got to work the same amount of hardness. We got to do everything ourselves. So that's my answer.
Okay, very good.
Ashley?
We have definitely evolved as women in total. That statement or the question is very subjective, but I would just say that if we as women just stay true to, of course, who we are, and as far as the love or partnership that we have with our mate, or the relationship that we have with our male or professional relationships that we have with our male counterparts in our working career, just being able to still, be cordial, have respect, being yourself, not feeling like you have to prove a point to do the most. I would just say, just stay true to yourself. So for me to answer yes or no, I would just say it's up to that person. I don't look at it us being too masculine. I just feel like for me, I just have to do what I have to do. And when when or who comes along and needs to show a certain characteristic themselves. So I feel like both people have to bring something to the table when it comes to even a relationship. But yeah, I'll leave it there.
So Reverend Watson, you said it was a woman that made a statement. You said that was her statement. It was a woman that made that statement.
She believed that women have she believed that women have become too masculine.
But what was her follow-up? Her reasonings?
That's all I have to say.
Okay.
You'll have to send us the podcast.
Yeah, you'll have to send it to us.
And then we'll have to have an off this is so I need the context behind it as to why she says what she says.
Well, I mean, I think it's first off, I think it's a very relevant topic, right?
Absolutely,
it's definitely relevant.
I wanted us to kind of push the conversation a little forward, and have a real talk, because if you ask a bunch of men that question, their response is probably going to be completely different than what you just said, and that doesn't negate or take away what they believe. Mm-hmm. Nor does it negate or take away what you believe. Right. But you would be surprised the differences in response, thought process in reference to that question. I was actually surprised that, maybe because of her age, I wasn't surprised. But anyway, I'll leave it there. It's probably time for us to go.
because we'll be on here all night.
Yeah, we'll be on here another hour going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean,
Kenny, normally we do a rapid fire question, but that was very rapid fire, so that's what we're gonna leave that rapid fire question. But I did want to leave us with a quote by the famous Maya Angelou, or as we head out, and it's love life, engage in it, give it all you've got, love it with a passion, because life truly does give back many times over what you put in it. And I just wanted to leave us with that as we ended the night. And I just want to thank Kyra. I wanted to thank Ashley. And, thank you guys for sacrificing your time, your energy, your personality, and sharing your story, because it's not always easy to be transparent about things, but you bless somebody like you've blessed us, right? And just imagine how many other people are going to see this, right? So we just thank you. We thank you.
Both.
welcome.
So, well, guys, we've reached the end of the segment, and we do pray that you guys have enjoyed it. We'll be airing on all of the social platforms, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Happy International Women's Month.
Yes.
Thank you.